The 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. A new book sets off a war of words between President Donald Trump and his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon.
Right-wing political figure Steve Bannon now speaking out about the Trump White House and the Russia investigation.
All this part of a new book that's already hit #1 on Amazon, and its release date has been now moved up.
Weijia Zhang is at the White House with more details on what Bannon said and the president's personal response.
Steve Bannon didn't hold back while being interviewed by Michael Wolff for his new book on the Trump administration. In excerpts from Fire and Fury inside the Trump White House, Bannon described a meeting at Trump Tower with a Russian lawyer as treasonous and unpatriotic. Donald Trump Jr., campaign chairman Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law and senior advisor, attended the meeting in June 2016. The Russian attorney claimed to have documents that would incriminate Hillary Clinton. Bannon said the three senior guys in the campaign thought it was a good idea to meet with a foreign government inside Trump Tower in the conference room on the 25th floor with no lawyers. They didn't have any lawyers. And he added they should have called the FBI immediately. Bannon also says there is zero chance Donald Trump Jr. did not also escort the Russian lawyer to see his father.
Did the president meet any of Donald Trump Jr.'s guests at that June 2016 Trump Tower meeting on that day?
As the president has stated many times, no, and he wasn't part or aware of that.
Shortly after the excerpts were made public, President Trump issued a statement. He said when Bannon was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. The president wrote Bannon spent his time at the White House leaking false information to the media to make himself seem far more important than he was. Steve was rarely in a one-on-one meeting with me and only pretends to have had influence to fool a few people with no access and no clue, whom he helped write phony books. Bannon left his White House position in August 2017. At the time, White House officials said the decision was mutual. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
Michael Wolff's book, by the way, now scheduled to be released January 9th.
Ousted just 3 months ago, the former president of the Northern Cheyenne tribe is back in power by just 2 votes.
This after weeks of tension between L. Jace Kilsback and the tribal council, which removed him from office. Q2's Asia Gore has been following the story and joins us now with the details. Asia?
Jay and Jeanelle, it took just 2 votes to give Jace Kilsback redemption as president of the Northern Cheyenne tribe. Kilsback beat challenger Donna Fisher in a 541 to 539 vote last night. Kilsback won just over half the votes in Busby, Lame Deer, Muddy, and Bernie, but he lost handily in Ashland, receiving just a quarter of the votes. This special election comes not long after the tribal council decided to remove Kilsback from office in October following a complaint from a council member. Kilsback fought back, calling the decision unlawful and claiming it was a retaliation for a fraud investigation he initiated. Now, Kilsback will return to his position, overseeing the tribal council that ousted him and the roughly 5,000 tribal members living on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. Kilsback will serve out the remainder of his former term through 2020. Kilsback nor interim President Conrad Fisher were available for comment. Jay and Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, Asia. Now, the Northern Cheyenne Tribal Council did forward Q2 a letter tonight.
And that letter, signed by Council Member Benji Headswift and Acting President Conrad Fisher, calls Kilsback's reinstatement, quote, troubling, because it says the council knows that the October 2017 removal decision was in fact warranted. The letter also accuses Kilsback of unauthorized transfer of money from the tribal-owned Tongue River Lumber Company to himself and others.
The letter also says tribal leaders are considering further action. Kilsback is set to resume his position as tribal president January 15th.
The city of Laurel now has a new mayor, this despite the fact that neither the mayor-elect nor the future mayor attended last night's city council meeting.
Tom Nelson, a former Laurel city councilman, was sworn in and appointed interim mayor today. Nelson lost the mayor's race in November to city employee Dave Wagner and was chosen as the top alternate should Wagner choose to keep his job with the city. The city's charter prevents Wagner from doing both.
Nelson's term will run through December 31st, 2019, but he'll need to run for re-election if he so chooses. Due to recent avalanche slides and deaths, authorities are now advising extra caution for snowmobilers in the backcountry.
Experts say carry the appropriate survival gear because human-triggered slides are likely. Check out this video from a snowmobiler's helmet cam that caught the anxious moments when his machine triggers a slide on Lookout Peak in western Montana.
Fortunately, this snowmobiler was wearing an avalanche airbag vest that kept him close to the surface of the slide. You saw that orange piece of material in the camera there. That was the airbag vest. So you think you can survive a avalanche? Well, you have to be very, very lucky. Others, though, have not been so lucky.
Now, Bob McGuire joining us now. Bob, it doesn't look like it's getting any safer out there anytime soon.
Yeah, the Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center keeps track of those things and avalanche danger, and they have come out with what they have as their avalanche advisory. And as you can see, all these areas highlighted in yellow, they indicate that the avalanche danger in the Bridger Range, the northern and southern Gallatin Range, and northern and southern Madison Range, all are in moderate avalanche danger. And that means probably not going to see a natural avalanche fall because of that, but it does mean that we could see people-made avalanches caused in that area. So you got to be careful. Don't go showboating around there because it's really going to cause some problems. And that's what they do. And it looks like we're probably going to stay right around moderate for a little while longer because we are going to see some more snow move in probably later on next weekend or this coming weekend. And we'll have more on that coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Now, here at home in Billings, if you're wondering why your residential street is still full of snow, the city says not to worry. Crews are now starting a second round to take care of any streets missed the first time. And just after midnight, crews will begin working in Zone 5. And tonight, they're urging people to remove their cars from the streets in that area. Now, Public Works Director Dave Mumford updated City Council last night. The city and CMG have been plowing, and Knife River has been hauling away the snow since last Friday. Mumford says there are 1,500 miles of residential street to plow and about 500 miles on arterials. The city will only haul away snow plowed on those arterials.
For our first experiment, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but the amount of calls I got on my vacation last week weren't anywhere near as bad as last year on my vacation. We're very pleased. For our first time ever trying to use Facebook, it seemed to work pretty well. I think we're like close to 60,000 hits.
And Mumford expects it will take the rest of the week to clear the snow on the arterial streets.
The battle over a proposed coal export terminal in the state of Washington appears to be headed to federal court. According to The Hill, a Washington, D.C. online news publication, Lighthouse Resources, based in Salt Lake City, now suing Washington State over its rejection of the company's application to build the Millennium Coal Terminal in Longview, Washington. The proposed facility would be the largest coal export terminal in the U.S. But last year, the Washington State Department of Ecology rejected the company's application to build on the Columbia River. In its lawsuit, Lighthouse says the state's actions violates the Constitution's Commerce Clause, which it says gives the federal government sole authority to regulate interstate commerce. Lighthouse operates coal mines in Montana and Wyoming and hopes to build that new terminal to export coal to markets in Japan and South Korea.
Well, Magic City's downtown no longer left with a leadership hole.
Today, a committee charged with finding Lisa Harmon's replacement at the DBA announces a new CEO. She's Katie Easton, who had previously worked with the Big Sky Economic Development as a project manager.
Easton plans to move ahead with the work Harmon and Development Director Greg Kruger forged over the years.
I think Billings is absolutely on the verge of doing amazing things, and I think that the downtown is right at the heart of that, and it's going to be an integral part of making sure that Billings is poised to take on other communities and really, really be something amazing in Montana and the country, and I think that downtown Billings is right at the heart of that.
Easton says a big focus to leverage downtown's potential is to strengthen the TIF funds, which are used as subsidies for redevelopment.
You can read more about what Easton had to say by clicking this story at ktvq.com.
Up next on tonight's 10 o'clock news, as Billings grows, its businesses do as well. In a moment, we'll check out the newest expansions.
Plus, it was cold here, but just how bad is the cold?